I think it's really difficult to break into the AliExpress budget sector of the market as an upcoming brand slash supplier slash watchmaker, or whatever you like to call it, with all the competition and all the small brands that provide really good watches for not a lot of money. When you have brands like Cadison and Baltony and numerous others that sort of dominate the sector, you really need to sort of like beat them at their own game, so to speak. The brand that we're going to talk about today, Militado watches, basically did just that. They kept it simple and do the basics right. And in addition to that, I think that not a lot of AliExpress slash budget brands don't do is nail the marketing side, which I think really helps promote the brand name. I do think that another brand that is guilty of that is San Martin. They have really good products, but they don't market them right. They do homages, of course, but for a very reasonable price. I mean, very reasonable price. Their website is really well made, and maybe for the first time ever, I prefer to go to the website first before checking the AliExpress store, as the website looks a bit more serious than the one on AliExpress. Link down below to check them out next to that subscribe button, which I would really appreciate if you guys click, because it really helps me out and helps get a lot more watches in. The watch we're going to take a look at today is one of their chronographs, and it's the Militado ML 1868, and this is $99. Full disclaimer, I absolutely love this watch, and it's probably one of the best watches that I've reviewed under $100. And I do think that you get a lot of watch for your money. You probably heard that term or that expression thrown around a lot, but this is really good. One thing that really stood out to me on the website is that it states that it has a 3-year warranty, which to me is another reason why you should buy this from the website directly. But also, if this is true, this is a proper bargain, as bigger brands offer less warranty than that. For instance, Zelos will give you a 1-year warranty, but then again, Zelos is a more desirable brand. You pay a lot more money, but you expect a lot more. So again, really good. But enough waffle, let's see what $99 gets you. So let's take a look at the dimensions. So we have a case diameter of 39, a lug to lug of 46.5, a thickness of 12.5 millimeters, including the slightly domed sapphire crystal, lug width of 20, and a weight of 74 grams on the supplied NATO strap. First impression, this feels really solid in hand with really good finishing. Almost looks like titanium to the touch, but it's 316L stainless steel, and it's just bead blasted, but it's very consistent. So the finishing is done very well, and you never think that this is $99 and it's stainless steel. The corners and the edges are properly finished and nothing sticks out to scratch you or to grab you or any of those things. The pushers and the crown have really good threading and are super easy to operate. So every time you operate those pushers and you need to unscrew them, you stick the threading in you get the threading in every time. And again, you can tell they're really well finished. I think this is the time for me to mention that we also do have a stated water resistance of 100 meters between those Daytona style crowns and also the screw down case back. Now, if the stated water resistance is actually true, then this is a serious budget beater. In terms of wearability, that mix of dimensions makes for a compelling package for a lot of wrist sizes, especially mine. Now, I don't like to brag, but mine has the perfect size, 6.3 inches to be exact, and it does look bang on perfect on it, honestly. Bear in mind, if you decide to go for the NATO strap, it will wear a little taller. You can get this with either a NATO or a 2-piece nylon, which is not the best, but look, for the price, an additional strap every single time is more than welcome. To wrap up the wearability, regardless of whatever you decide to have this on, a weight of 73 grams is not a lot on those curved short distance lugs, and it will conform nicely to your wrist, making it pretty snug and comfortable experience. So far, I'm kind of impressed. But again, let's take a look at that dial. To me, this is a field style chronograph, if such a term exists, and this homages the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic chronograph with some minor differences, with the main ones being obviously the pushers. Now, I love Hamilton and all, but the watch that this is homaging is $2,000. So no, I'm not going to pay $2,000 for a Hamilton. The thing is that I didn't know that that Hamilton model existed until I had to do a research for this video. So in a way, this makes this a lot more original than all the other homages. Don't know if that makes any sense. But look, going back to the dial, this only comes in black, so you only have one option. You can get this with or without a date. I much prefer the date option, and I don't feel that it clutters the layout. I just like to have the functionality. It's very legible and easy to read, as you'd expect from a field watch. And since we have the Seiko VK67 movement, we have also running seconds, which is sort of good because you get the additional accuracy, I suppose. But this being quartz, we really don't have that problem. The printing on the dial is very, very well executed, and even under macro, I couldn't find anything wrong. And again, for the price, I really think this is hard to beat. The only thing that I would have to complain about here would be the slight misalignment on the sub-dial at the 9. But again, that's not properly centered. But again, you do get this occasionally with the VK movements, but I really don't care because the positives really outweigh the negatives. So it's just a small drop, I suppose. I think I should add that I don't use the chronograph function, and if there is a watch enthusiast out there that say that they use it, I think they're lying to you, honestly. So yeah. And speaking of that movement, I won't spend too much time talking about it since we're all familiar with these. I really love the snapback action that these are known for during the chronograph operation or when you reset it. Normally I wouldn't care, but I do think that it makes the watch feel a bit more expensive than it actually is. So you could have used a Miyota, but still, I really like that. Now, it is that time in the video, and you know what that is? It is P-Lume time, baby. Oh, and let me slip into something a bit more comfortable. Since we are dressed for the occasion now, we can do this properly. So if you don't know the rules by now, I'm just going to go through them again. We will be judging this on 3 categories: brightness, longevity, and application / cool factor with a K. And we're going to give it marks out of 10. So let's get into it. So first up, let's have a look at the brightness. Like pretty much all watches under $100 from brands similar to this one or from AliExpress, the Lume won't win any awards, or at least you don't expect it to win any awards. In this case, we have 2 shades, the equivalent of BGW9 on the sub-dial hands and the Arabic numerals, and C3 Superluminova, also equivalent on the markers and hour and minute hands. They have different strengths, with the hands being a bit brighter than the markers. Although it's pretty bright at first time with a blast from my UV torch, but because of the inconsistency, it only scores a 3.5 out of 10. So let's just say that none of those 2 shades will blind you. On the longevity part, I have to say that I'm not sure how many layers of Lume we have here, but in complete darkness, after a few minutes of exposure, you can still get a smell of that Lume, if I can use that term, and can distinguish the hands and the markers, with the hour and minute hands far outlasting the markers. So for that, I'm going to give it a score of 4 out of 10. On the application and cool factor with a K, I have to say that I've never been a big fan of having different shades of Lume on the dial, as this can look especially tacky if you don't have enough applied, so if none of them are properly bright. Even in this case, it is pretty nicely applied because of those inconsistencies that I've mentioned above. I have to give it a score of 4 out of 10. So the overall score is on the P-Lume is 3.8333333333 out of 10, and so many other 3s. I genuinely think that this is fair, so again, you get what you pay for. If you're looking to start timing your P trips at night, this almost has you covered. Barely. Let's just say 3.833333. So with that, guys, we're gonna wrap up with final thoughts. So what do we think about the Militado? Really well-made watch from a relatively new brand that has been on the market for what, around a year, and they actually did hit the ground running. If this is true and they honor that 3-year warranty advertised on the website, it makes this a proper bargain and also shows that they have faith in their product, so to speak. I would definitely recommend changing the straps for something a bit better, as the 2-piece nylon strap is a bit too stiff and the NATO looks that it's too short. Well, especially for my wrist anyway, and I only have a 6.3 inch wrist. So with that in mind, I really look forward to trying some of their other products, as it really looks promising and it really looks like it'd take a side of the market that other brands right now in the same sector have slightly dropped in. So that was it for me, guys. That was my review of the Militado 1868. Thank you very much for watching, for sticking around until the end. Click a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so it really helps me out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and one last thing, if you're looking to buy these t-shirts, I'm not selling them, but do let me know, as we can probably send you one or make some sort of order. See you guys in the next one. Bye.